Good evening. Welcome to Action Island, presented by FanDuel. We are previewing the Thursday night football game between the red hot, everybody's favorite team, Miami Dolphins, and the Joe Burrow Bengals. Why are we calling the show Action Island? It's an island game, folks, and my experts are going to give us their favorite picks for the night. We're going to choose some. We're going to vote some off the island. We're going to come up with a same game parlay that you can play along with for tonight's Thursday night football game. Reminder, we are sponsored by FanDuel. It is week 4 of the football season. What better way to start off the week than with a no sweat same game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Whether you're new to FanDuel or already have an account, all you have to do is opt into the deal on FanDuel and you'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or tail us with whatever same game parlay we come up with tonight. As always, I'm joined by Simon Hunter, Gilles Gallant, Vegas Refund. We've got Darren Ravel coming up a little bit later in the show. Everything we're talking about, all the picks, all the data, all the research, it's available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. Simon Hunter, you are up first. Give us your most excellent picks that we can judge.
Chad, buddy, going back to the well, going the gross under, up to 48.5 at this point, which is pretty interesting. I guess maybe that says that Tua is officially going to be in, and it's not Teddy, so we know for a fact now, just off this late movement, that it's definitely going to be Tua. But I look at this game as just a prime time under, right? They're 7-3 on the season. Bengals are actually 3-0 towards the under this season. Just a good defense with an offense that's a little sloppy. And that's what I like betting unders with. And in this position, I think both teams coming off a short week, I do think the defenses will have a step on both offenses. And again, I still don't think the Bengals have solved their offensive line issues. So we could see Miami be able to get pressure. On the flip side, this Miami offense, I don't think they played a defense as good as this Bengals defense has been this year. They've actually dominated second halves as well. This Bengals team, they've only given up 1 touchdown all year in the second half. Two teams that I think people are thinking this is going to be a high-scoring, high-flying offenses. Where I just see on a short week, both defenses have an advantage here. For my second bet, easy one. Chase, our guy, the wide receiver for the Bengals, touchdown anytime. It actually was plus 105. Now it's down to minus 105. We know it. We know the deal with this guy. He is the all-star. He's the best player on their team. He's the guy that Joe's always looking to, especially down the red zone. And this season, he's been averaging over 10 targets per game, and he has a touchdown in 2 out of 3 games. It just feels like it's chalky. It's boring. It's the perfect thing to throw into a money line parlay or just any type of parlay. It's just one of those you expect to get in the first half. We might be sweating late. With Chase, all it takes is one big play. Hit him with a deep ball from Joe, and he'll get us there. So I like both these plays a lot.
All right, so Simon is offering up the under 48.5. Gilles and Vegas, he's offering up Jamar Chase anytime touchdown minus 105. Fellas, we're going to vote. After we see the votes, I'm going to ask you for your explanations on why you chose what you chose. Let's vote. Three, 2, 1. Guys, it's unanimous. We all like Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Minus 105 are the current odds on FanDuel. Gilles, you're the anytime touchdown expert. Give me your explanation.
Yeah, I think it was almost a layup that I was probably going to be taking Chase in this spot here, mainly because the target share that he is getting at this point of the season, especially really since the start of his rookie season, but especially this season, is bordering on the Stafford Cup type of target share. And really, from a Cooper Cup standpoint, you can't get him for better than maybe minus 130, minus 140 every week for a touchdown. So already getting a little bit of decent value here. And plus the Dolphins secondary, even though I think their defense is a little underrated, if you just look at the stats across the board, they're getting beat heavily by wide receivers this season. And then, of course, just from a target share standpoint or target standpoint, he's pretty much lapping the field. He has over 30 targets. The next guy, T. Higgins, has like 19. So I think right now, Jamar Chase, if you're betting anybody to score a touchdown for the Bengals, that's the best way to go.
All right, Vegas, what do you got?
Yeah, Chase for me too, where I think he's the receiver that's going to benefit the most from a Dolphins defense that blitzes at the second highest rate in the league, where I think he's in like an A dot at like 8 to 9 yards, which is the lowest A dot on the team. Which when you combine that with the red zone targets highest on the team, that's a pretty easy one for me. I do think that I do like the under as well, though, where if it gets into a specific game script where maybe the Dolphins are just trying to save their defense and running the ball and keeping their defense off the field while they're still catching their breath from Sunday, I can see that under very well hitting as well.
Yeah, look, it's 48.5. I'm going to give my explanation for why I went with Chase anytime touchdown. The total is 48.5. The primetime unders have been hitting. The reason why I actually chose Chase has a little bit to do with the under, in that I think this Bengals offense sort of figures some things out last week against the Jets. A lot of people figure things out against the Jets. That's not a big surprise, but they are things they can carry over against a defense that has just played so many plays the past couple of weeks, not just last week, but the week before too, nearly 90 plays. So we're talking about a defense that has just been exhausted. So I'm thinking there's a little bit of trepidation for me on playing the under despite the under trend. Also, there could be some regression, which is bound to happen. But come on, Chase anytime touchdown, the main target on an offense that is finally starting to figure out how to make it click at minus 105. I'm just a skosh more than even. Come on, that's a no-brainer. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown, minus 105. That is the first choice for the number one spot in our same game parlay for Thursday Night Football. Gilles, you are up next. Take it away.
All right, so I'm going to give you two options. They're both going to be anytime touchdowns. Shocker. So the first one is going to be Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown at plus 115. And I think these are incredible odds, mainly because last season, the best number. So for reference, I tracked the anytime touchdown odds. I've done it for a couple seasons. But last year, for example, the best odds that you could get Tyreek Hill at was minus 120. And even last week versus Buffalo, which I think is a stronger defense, he was plus 105. So we're getting it at plus 115, a little bit more value here. And Tua obviously gets a little bit of a bad rap, as far as his quarterback play. I'm not in love with Tua like some people are, but it's hard to really argue with some of the numbers we've seen on the deep passes. For example, passes of 20 yards or more, he ranks second in completion percentage, second in total completions with 9, and 3 passing touchdowns in that spot. And then, of course, if you're looking for a little bit of a narrative angle, the Eli Apple matchup is getting a little bit of buzz here. I think it's getting a little bit too much attention, but I mean, Tua said in a press conference, if there's one-on-one coverage, he's throwing it right to Tyreek Hill. So I like Tyreek Hill as my first option at plus 115. As for the second option, we're going to move over to his teammate, and we're taking Jalen Waddle, anytime touchdown at plus 150. The reason being, it's very simple. It's just the stats. Leads the team in targets, receiving yards, and red zone targets. He's top 10 actually in the NFL in overall targets as well. And one of the things that I like about him is the versatility. Like, he could score on the long touchdown like we saw in week 1 against the Patriots, or he could score on the bubble screen that like we've seen in week 2 against the Ravens. He's also, shout out to Matt Friedman, former friend of the show, a former friend of the network here. He has a stat called ARYAC, which is air yards and yards after catch. And Jalen Waddle is second in that category this season. And I honestly think could be a case that could be made. Jalen Waddle is the best Dolphins wide receiver right now.
All right. Well, look, you had me right up until you mentioned Matthew Friedman, and this guy's, you're just making up new stats now all of a sudden. Come on, Friedman. Fellas, Simon and Vegas, let's make our choices. Jalen Waddle, anytime touchdown. Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown. Let's vote. All right. 3, 2, 1. Reveal yourselves. Dun, 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 dun. We have 2
Consensus.
Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown. We have 1 Jalen Waddle, anytime touchdown. Simon, you're on Tyreek Hill. Explain yourself.
I love the fact I just love Cheetah. He's just the man, and he's so good. And I feel like he's always underrated. And besides the fact that this is just a good spot to take him, the Eli Apple narrative to me just blows it out of the water. Like, this guy's been chatting all week about it, and now his QB, who doesn't say anything, as mentioned it. that's a big deal to me. Like, not in the fact that he's going to try to force it in there. I think Mike McDaniels, who's just a cool coach, he'll design something. They'll be put in a position. He'll have a play in his back pocket. So I already know I feel like I'm guaranteed a red zone target for Tyreek Hill just off all this noise. The fact that exactly if he gets one-on-one coverage at any time, he can break it. So it feels like the same thing with Chase. It's just like great value. Anything under even is just a steal with this player. So I was more than happy when I saw this on the list. I would love to throw this one in.
Yeah. Vegas, I want to hear your explanation for Waddle before I weigh in with my concurring opinion here. Tell me about Waddle.
Yeah, I honestly, I just think they're so similar that I just took the better odds, where maybe it's positive regression being due for Tyreek, but he doesn't have a red zone target yet this year, where like in all of the clutch situations over the first 3 weeks, Tua has been looking to Waddle as his guy. Like you can totally tell that like the guy that Tua trusts when it is a very high leverage situation has been Waddle. But I really just took the better odds in two guys that are electric and both will probably score in the end.
All right. Well, look, you're playing the price, which is totally fair. I think it's really fascinating that Tyreek Hill, you're getting positive odds at plus 115. To Gilles' point, this is a guy who last year you were constantly having to pay a premium on this particular prop. But come on, Tyreek Hill, it's so rare. It's so rare that a quarterback will telegraph what he is going to do. That is how much people in the NFL, players in the NFL, can't stand Eli Apple. They are actually talking trash, not just the receiver, but the quarterback is telling you what he's going to do. I like it for that alone. Just because I want to root to see a Tyreek Hill, Eli Apple showdown with Tua playing the maestro a little bit. So we are on Tyreek Hill plus 115, anytime touchdown. That is the second leg of our same game parlay. Vegas Refund, you are up next. What do you got?
So my first one's going to be Joe Burrow over 268.5 yards passing. This one's pretty easy in terms of the narrative, where you have a Miami defense coming off of a gut-wrenching performance last week, 90-plus plays, 40-plus minutes on the field against a secondary that is very thin. And a defensive line, when they're not blitzing, is only pressuring the quarterback 15% of the time, which I think is bottom 5 in the league. Mixon, who's questionable with, I think, a bum ankle, where who knows how many carries he's going to get. And Brandon Anderson has been harping it where the Bengals have been stressing passing more than they did in the first 2 weeks, which I can totally get behind. We're at 268 on FanDuel. It's a great number relative to the market. That's an easy bet for me. And then my second one is going to be Bengals minus 3.5. There are so many strong narratives backing the Bengals and fading the Dolphins, and they're all 100% fair. My only concern is everyone knows about them. But you have a Dolphins defense, 90-plus plays in a gut-wrenching divisional opponent on Sunday on a short week on the road. I think they left travel early, where everything is just working against them. Simon brought up a great trend where since 2015, teams coming off an outright win as a dog are 0-12 straight up, 1-11 against a spread. And then you have a rookie head coach on his first Thursday Night Football on a short week. And then lastly, and probably the most important point, is how can you fade these uniforms? Like, these are probably going to be the best uniforms we ever see. And it's an easy one for me.
Listen, there's
Bengals
no bigger fan. There's no bigger fan of incorporating the narrative, incorporating biases, and incorporating fashion into your betting choices than me, Gilles, and Simon. Let's vote to see which one we are keeping and who we are voting off the island of Vegas's choices. All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Reveal yourselves. Another split decision. Simon is on the Bengals. Gilles is on Burrow over 268.5. Simon, you and I have been talking about this game nonstop on our FanDuel sponsored podcast, The Favorites. Give me your take.
Yeah, Vegas didn't have this in here. This was going to be my number one. I was going to force you guys to take the Bengals in this position. Just a great number, great spot, and all the trends back it. And that's another thing. Again, we don't bet off trends here. When you're taking a position and it feels like a smart position, and then the trends back it, and then you look and you check online, like Darren's about to tell us, the money, the tickets, it's on Dolphins at 3.5. It's on the Dolphins. Over 70% of the bets right now is on the Dolphins money line. Just a lot of love for a 3-0 Dolphins team that if anyone watches TV this week, all these make-believe power rankings that don't mean anything, guess who's number one? The Dolphins. It's just a hype-up week where this is kind of, the good times right before the fall. Like, this is peak Dolphins right now. We all expect them to be a good team, wild card team. Are they the number one team in football? Hell no. So, to me, a great time to fade the Dolphins. I love, again, this number's back down to -3.5. Just such a good number. You have to put this one in.
All right, Gilles, he makes a pretty good case for the Bengals. You're on Burrow. How come?
Well, I wasn't trying to be a dissenter. Like, I actually do like the Bengals in this spot, but I just preferred the Burrow number because this is what this offense is all built around with those weapons that he has. Like last season, for example, he averaged over 280 passing yards per game. In the 2 of the 3 games this year, he went way over that number. And then not only that, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen both went way over this exact number as well. Like Josh Allen had like 400 passing yards against this defense. So for me, it was just more about finding a good number. They both correlate to each other. I just preferred the Burrow number over the actual spread.
All right, listen, I love the Bengals in this spot. The Bengals opened at 1.5 on Sunday night, immediately got hit by the professional bettors. It was at 2.5. It was at 3. It was 3.5. It's at 4. Now it's been bet back down. So we've seen where the limits are for professional bettors. Great spot for the Bengals. Home team, short week, Thursday night, team getting healthier, better quarterback. I think the Bengals better uniforms, 100% right. Vegas. The Bengals are the smash spot here. So the final bet in our same game parlay, Bengals -3.5. Darren, I know there's a lot of talk about this game. What do you got?
Well, Simon is accurate in that people are looking at this, or at least the public is, and saying, wait a second, am I going to do -110 with the Dolphins as a dog? No, I'm going to take +182 on the money line. So the money line, 82% at FanDuel right now has money line Dolphins. And I think that's why that's happening. It's really close in terms of number of bets. Right now, 55% to the Bengals, 72% of the money there on the spread is to the Bengals. A little bit surprised about that. Now, the total from 47 this morning to 48.5 now. That money is on the over. I think people think about Joe Burrow. They think about what just happened with Tua. Joe Burrow, like Patrick Mahomes, is kind of like an auto over guy, it seems like. Here's the data, though. They're 3-0 to the under this year, and they're 16-8 since last year to the under. So again, perception versus reality. Interesting that it goes up a point. I still expect people to bet the over here again because of the recency bias of Tua and however hurt he is, and Burrow being one of those auto over guys, despite what the data says.
Reminder, we are sponsored by FanDuel, and you can start off this week with a no sweat same game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Whether you're new to FanDuel or already have an account, all you have to do is opt into the deal on FanDuel, and you'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or join us on ours. Reminder, our same game parlay for this Thursday night football game: Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown; Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown; Bengals -3.5. You can see what the payout is on the screen. Make sure you take advantage of the no sweat same game parlay from our sponsors if you haven't heard it already at FanDuel. By the way, don't forget, these are the other bets that our experts had. Simon Hunter liked the under 48.5. Gilles Gallant liked Jalen Waddle, anytime touchdown, as well as Tyreek Hill. Vegas Refund, he liked Joe Burrow over 268.5 passing yards. That is all of it, folks. Download the Action Network app. this is the best place to watch the show, the Action Network app. We got picture in picture. You can be making these bets as you are watching the show. You can also track all these picks. We will be back next Thursday, same time, same app, same channel. Until then, good luck.